committed to the United Kingdom leaving.
Since I became Prime Minister, I've said we must get on and get Brexit done on October the 31st so that this country can move on.
But the Nigerian government is not killing his people and
Good to have you join us back this morning on Open Conversation. And we're kicking off first with the story in the UK, where we have the Conservative Party UK. Liz Truss takes over as UK Prime Minister. London, September 6th. That's the issue ground right now. Boris Johnson bowed out as British Prime Minister on Tuesday, ending tumultuous 3 years in office and bequeathing his successor, Liz Truss, as daunting list of problems to tackle. Johnson, who was forced out of office by his own Conservative Party over a series of scandals, urged the country to come together and back his successor. After making a farewell speech outside Downing Town, he left London to travel to Scotland and tender his resignation to Queen Elizabeth. Truss will then be appointed Prime Minister and start to form a government. Truss will be the fourth Conservative Prime Minister in 6 years. She confronts the latest crisis to buffet Britain with a weaker political hand than many of his or her predecessors, after she defeated rival Rishi Sunak in a vote of Conservative Party members with a smaller margin of victory than expected. And after they initially failed to be the top choice for her lawmakers, she has promised to take bold actions, in quotes, bold actions to get the country through the tough times, including cutting taxes despite the warning that would exacerbate Britain's inflation rate at 10%, 10.1%, already the highest of any leading economy. Johnson, who fought to stay in office until the end, used his departure speech to boast of his successes, including an early vaccine program during the pandemic and his early support for Ukraine in its battle against Russia. The speech was full of bombast and jokes, characteristics of a man once loved by much of British public, but also noted by many, having refused to rule out a return to the top job one day. He also indicated he was still bruised by the nature of his departure. The torch will finally be passed to a new Conservative leader, he said. The baton will be handed over in what has expectedly turned out to be a relay race. They changed the rules halfway through, but never mind that now. Truss will follow Johnson to Scotland and be asked to form a government by Queen Elizabeth. She will then address the country and start appointments to her team of ministers later on Tuesday. Those are the issues on ground right now. And with the UK issues now. Joining me to do justice to these trending and serious issues affecting the nation's landscape is Frank Enawaji Ogonono, public affairs analyst. Thank you. Good morning to you. Thank you for joining me.
Good morning.
Yes. All right. Next is a public affairs analyst, nation builder, social reformer, author, and trouble of bad leadership, no other than Andy Akwative. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Welcome after a long while.
Yes.
All right. Joining me from the UK is a strategy and leadership consultant, no other than Ray Kene Ogbodo. Good morning to you, Ray.
Good morning so much. Nice to see you.
Yeah, good morning, and thank you for joining us from the UK. How's the UK today?
It's sunny and bright. Obviously, it was rainy over the night, but it's quite bright now. We are in heading towards the autumn. The summer is nearly finished, though it's September, it's early autumn, so it hasn't kicked in. But it's a nice weather today.
All right, Ray. Well, we'll come to you first. Because because we want to take up the issues right now and the matters arising concerning the new Prime Minister we have. What do you think are the reactions of the people in the UK concerning the new Prime Minister Truss coming in right now?
I think there is nothing really much at stake at the moment. Obviously, some people are divided. Some people think he's a bit of a fresh air from the turbulence that Boris Johnson went through. Like you said earlier, a lot of people loves him and likes him, but I think when he got this victory, a lot of things happens which he did not anticipate, which even his private life come to play in terms of this politics. But at this point in time, you know, UK is like any other country, is undergoing a lot of issues, living costs, high cost of energy, which is caused by the war between Russia and the Ukraine, and the energy crisis going on everywhere. What the UK people are looking at is someone who can help them to get the ball rolling in terms of putting a stop and doing something about the cost of energy crisis, which is rising up to 80% from 1st of October. That is what is anticipated. So when we are talking about this 80%, we are talking about people paying like £1,000 £1,000 plus per year, going to be paying 3,500 and something pounds in a year. And it is anticipated that in April next year, it might even go to up to 5,000 something pounds. That's a whole lot of money. Not a lot of people have it. But the UK government is looking at how they can put a cap, how they can help the household. Because in UK, which is a developed world, the people are no longer concerned about the infrastructures of road or hospitals, of those things. People are actually asking government to help them to pay their bills because they don't have the money, and the government has to listen to try to do something in terms of negotiation. But at the moment now, Liz Truss has said that she's going to put a stop in terms of maybe reducing taxation, which is also a burden to the people. But obviously, there's a lot of things that people are hoping. But people who belong to different side will tell you that is still the same conservative. Obviously, Liz Truss has worked in a conservative government for the past 4 to 6 years or thereabout with a lot of prime ministers. So she is also loyal to Boris Johnson to the core, and it's probably not gonna be any much thing. But the UK is going. There is stability. There is good governance per se. You can actually maybe see how over the past 6 weeks there wasn't really any much fighting, any much whatever. They were touring around the country, debating, doing their hostings, and nobody was shooting anybody, nobody was killing anybody, nobody was doing, and a lot of people didn't even know that a new prime minister will be coming into play today. A lot of people are just getting on with their lives and they're doing on their things because these are for politicians, because a lot of people are calling for even early election because they are considering that this is not the way a new prime minister should be choosing. It shouldn't just be left for Conservative Party. But what the ordinary man, ordinary woman in the street and in the house is looking at is to be able to reduce their cost of living and to be able to get on with life.
All right, Ray. Right now, you witnessed the debate which went on, and there's a bit of margin between Relish, the her counterpart, who also participated in the debate right now. She said she promised to take bold action. Those are the words, and it was in quote today. Do you see her as one who will be able to take bold actions better than her predecessor, Boris Johnson?
I think I don't really think so, because Boris Johnson came into government, really wanted to do a lot for UK. He has this big plan in building the big society and making sure that a lot of people get on in terms of even people in the north, which is quite very in poverty or those kind of things, because those people trusted him and gave him the votes. But after winning that landslide in 2019 and coming into January 2020, the issue of COVID came. Instead of him to be implementing the policies and the things that he wanted to do, it became a situation whereby his government started fighting COVID. I can tell you for sure, no other prime minister, nobody else, it was always going to be difficult for anybody. So being consumed by such thing, throughout 2020, any plan you do, people will criticize, some people will applaud, some people will do. His government did quite a lot of things in terms of maybe helping people. They brought in for law, make sure that people who were not going to job were getting paid about 80%, which was actually maybe championed by Rishi Sunak, which is the person defeated in this conservative elections that Liz Truss has won. But they did a lot of things, and the issue after they are trying to come out of it, the issue of Ukraine and the Russia war or conflict come into play. But one of the things that actually made this balancing that lose out, which is because of a lot of handouts, a lot of lies, a lot of up and down, trying to maneuver, trying to outsmart things, because he looks like a nice guy. But when you come in terms of leadership, I think he lacks that leadership quality, because he was just thinking that this is just a play. I think he wasn't taking certain things serious, and it already maybe hampered his government a lot, whereby there is scandals after scandals after scandals, and he wasn't coming to say the truth. Because in this country, one of the things that people in this country, in UK, live and breathe is that people are mainly truthful. So once you lie to someone, the person will actually maybe hate you and hate where you march, and it becomes quite a very difficult. So people want truthfulness, people want sincerity.
Thank you very much, Ray. We'll come back to you. Just hold on there. Let me take the guest in the studio, Franco Nawachi. What do you make of the new Prime Minister, Liz Truss, who has just been sworn in this morning?
I want to say the process that led to our emergence was peaceful. It was an inter-party affair, but the wrangling was controlled, unlike the way we see in this part of this world. So for me, I pray that she will do well, even though the brother over there was saying that people are calling for any election, because it's not the whole people that chose him. This is done by a particular political party that is in government, and they should form a government, because any place there's no government, things will never also be in order. So there is need, since Boris Johnson is going, there is need for them to have a prime minister in UK. The prime minister is the head of government, while the queen is the head of state in a way, because ceremonial. But without the king also, the queen giving her assent, nothing will work. You can also hear the processes involve how the new prime minister and even the outgoing also are taught to meet her. In a state whereby people understand that if you do this one in a wrong way, things will go wrong. And they are both doing the wrong thing. Like, you see, we must play in a party, we must allow what you call internal democracy. I think to develop beyond somebody manipulating it or destroying it. If you don't get it, you destroy it, like also our colleague over there who said that actually if you look at what the person that lost did, he will have also won the election. But in the party also has influence for bringing this lady up to take over. But in the public domain, this person that lost worked hard, because like during the issue of COVID, he did a lot of things that helped the public to at least cushion the impact of COVID on the people. But in the party has its own vision. This is the woman we want. So for me, I feel that what brought up this lady, the third woman prime minister of Great Britain, is a good movement, a good process that we need to learn from, at least in this part of the world, when we are trying to at least bring somebody up to represent or to flag the flag of the party.
All right.
That is for internal mechanism to be put in place, not how the public to have a shock of what is happening in the party.
Thank you very much. Now, Andy Akotive, our elections are coming up in 2023. And now we've seen just a new prime minister being sworn in the UK, Liz Truss. And she's a woman. And she's promised, you heard all the things we read out, even from our guest. One of the things I could deduce from that is that the people in the UK, or people in power, they love truthful people, sincere people. What does Nigeria stand to learn from this process that emerged on how the Liz Truss actually emerged as the Prime Minister of the UK?
So we indeed stand to learn how processes should work, how we should always let processes trump individuality in our governance process. So we have seen the results of processes. We have seen how that they respect standards, they respect protocols, that which has been created already in the system that they all accept, that has come to govern the entire essence of the British people. You know, in Africa and in Nigeria particularly, it is individuality against community. It is the will and the wish of one against the will and the wish of the people. So we indeed stand to learn from this. If you forget, you would remember that the former prime minister, you know, who I think is the exact, he wields the exact exuberance of the British, you know, politics. You would remember that he came in full of energy, full of fervor, full of vigor, full of enthusiasm to work. But for certain circumstances that, you know, are centrifugal, certain circumstances that are not directly within, you know, so much to say within his calculation and his authority or power, he was unable to perform in the eyes of the British people. If you took that kind of an individual to the African environment or to the Nigerian environment, you'd find that he would excel, because the politics that we play here is the politics of Babati Supe, is the politics of who has got all the monies, who has got all the influence, not necessarily who has got capacity to deliver. In the case of Britain, we are seeing that it's capacity that trumps everything else. So see how the election came, you know, in. The woman who eventually, Liz Truss, is one who has given herself to processes and protocol, is one who has shown depth and details in politics in the British system. And little wonder you see that she has emerged. So, but in Nigeria, people do not emerge because of in Africa, because they actually have got knowledge, they actually have got the capacity. They emerge because, you know, one strong man saw you, that is your turn, you know. See what's the current thing that is playing out in Nigeria, you know, our local, it's our turn. Not essentially because we think that we have got what it takes to be able to take, you know, our systems, our people, our country from where it was or from where it is currently to where it should be.
All right, thank you, Andy Akpotive. If you're just joining us, this is Open Conversation, and I've been speaking with Frank Enawaji Okonono, Andy Akpotive, and Ray Kene Obodo. And right now we're moving over to the next issue on ground towards 2023. Wike says plans to break his ranks will fail, vows to flog and crush PDP small boys. Now, the Rivers State governor, Yesterday Wike, has set plans by some powerful individuals attempting to break his rank and create disunity will fail. The governor maintained that the People's Democratic Party governors working with him were only demanding that the right things should be done in the party, and agreement reached be respected. Agreement reached be respected. Wow. So, okay, Governor Wike spoke on Monday when he inaugurated the Okezo Abia flyover along the Aba Enugu Expressway in Osichoma Ngwa local government area and the rehabilitated Aba Owerri Road in Aba South local government area of Abia State. This was contained in a statement issued by Speaker Aide to Governor to the governor, Kelvin Abiri, and sent to newsmen. Right, the statement says, when I read on the pages of newspapers, they say some people are making attempts to break my ranks. I say to myself that they don't understand modus operandi of what we are doing. We'll hold it there. I know you've been following all the issues going on right now in River State, especially in Nigeria, the tussle of power between the presidential candidates of the People's Democratic Party and the River State governor, who was also an aspirant in the People's Democratic Party. What do you make by this statement by Governor Nyesom Wike? It says that the people should learn to respect the agreement reached. Right, and let's take you on this. Let me have your reactions from this, and let us have a view that really is unbiased concerning these issues going on right now in Nigeria, especially in the People's Democratic Party.
Thank you, Nnamdi. I think I've said it in a different platform. Wike is a wounded lion. He sees himself, obviously, he contested for these primaries in PDP and lost. And in his mind, he must have believed that there is nothing that will stop him becoming the presidential candidate of PDP. He boasted about it. He talked about it. He ran a very aggressive campaign throughout Nigeria, and you would think that he was actually the presidential candidate, that he is standing against the APC or Labour or AAC or any other distinct. So he did those things, he spent a lot of money, a lot of things was done. He stepped on a lot of toes, marshaled his colleagues down and they put them down. And before this, I think his nemesis, I would say, not being biased, as a strategy and the leadership expert, Wike, he went into the primaries with a strategy, but because probably he did not set up a clear-cut goals for himself. That is what is haunting him now, and with what things that he has done before. Because don't forget, he removed the former chairman because of this his selfish interest, and the thinking that maybe if they do this and the chairman goes to the north, that maybe is the presidential candidate is going to come to the south. Wike knows that there is a bargain and the agreement that they should be doing power shift to the north and to the south. But he did not stand firm to make sure that this power comes to the south because he was desperate. He was thinking that.
So my question to you, my question to you now, since you said that, since he couldn't stand firm to make sure that these powers actually come to the south, why are you doing it now? Don't you think it's an effort in futility?
It is a medicine after death or something like that. I don't know whether, I won't say for sure. It's not an effort in futility because at the end of the day, it might yield him something or it might consume him more. Because at the end of the day, he is fighting a battle and he alone knows what he is fighting. But I can tell you, it is not for the people. It is his own selfish interest, his cronies and the likes of them. Because, in Nigeria, the social contract between the leaders and the politician has broken many years, all the time. So those politicians, as they continue to do this fighting, you can actually see that it is about what they get, not what they give. So they are just maybe thinking about what should we share. It's like the former governor of Kaduna State, McAfee, was advising Shakaru, why Shakaru came to PDP from NNPP or something like that. He said that he want to work with the party to make sure that maybe when they begin to share things, then they can get this and get this and get that. So they are not talking about what they can give to people. So for Wike is talking about the man Ayu should respect the agreement or something like that. That is not the issue. The issue is that Wike has felt shortchanged and felt betrayed and felt that he lost out. Because if it is about the agreement, Wike should have started talking about the agreement immediately he lost the election. So a lot of things followed and there was a lot of things going on before this issue of the wars that they are trading within Ayu. And what Ayu said about calling people kids and children is just maybe totally unacceptable. But at the same time, it serves Wike and their cause right, because they are the same one who claim they ousted Secondus and put Ayu. So the issue of fixing and selecting and not allowing internal democracy is the bane of the issue. We just discussed about what happened in the UK, why there wasn't any really drama or so much drama. People campaigned for who they like and who they did not like. There were about 5 or 6 of them who started this struggle to become the prime minister. They withered them down until 2 were remaining. And these 2 people continued. So it's just maybe something that we need to get into our country to be able to make it better, because otherwise we can't really continue like this.
All right, thank you, Ray. Let me take you now. The words by Governor Wike right now. Well, what do you think? What are his chances? He's putting up words, and the words, for me, somehow, some people have said that these words are not having a lot of impact on his supposed enemies in the same party as we speak. Frank and Awaji.
For me, the words Governor Wike is reaching out and being is not palatable in terms of the purpose we are trying to amend. Because if you look at it, we want to go on with issue-based politics. But when you are like, you know what the person over there said, the social contract. But the people should be the people should be the ones talking. No, that's how it should be.
The people, you mean the electorate?
That is it, whether it's PDP or not. We should be the people talking. But people have been alienated from their right. Like we're discussing somewhere. We don't need even for no party to ask people to go and get photos card. You know what? It should be the government agencies, like what we call the National Orientation Agency, should be on the front corner, telling the society, telling the public, electorate Nigerians, go and get their photos card. So for me, like you just said, the truth is that look at the spread. It's minute. They were talking of Ibazu in Ovabia State, talking of Enugu, also in the southeast. Now, what about the south, which is his own enclave? How many are supporting him? It is something like Oyo in southwest. How many people supporting him? So for me, I feel that what they try to do, they are seeing that people are also working to break this. Like they said, people are trying to meet, but in politics, there's lobbying. They can also lobby person to do, I was told that there's no permanent friend, no permanent enemy in politics, but permanent interest. So who knows? Some can go to Shema today in Oyo State and say, look, if you join us, when we form this government, if they win, we'll give you a position. If they cannot go to the one of Enugu State and say, look, you want to follow weekend? With what we are doing now, we will not be given any position in our party. If you follow it, we will lose out. And if you join us and we win, we'll give you an appointment. And we also go to the party. So what we are trying to do now, they think that all these people cannot be moved. And they also think that these people can protect his dynasty. Right. But the truth is that in politics, that he also knows that there is no permanent enemy and friend. But what is at stake now is interest from 2023. Like also my brother also said over there. See, politicians think that we don't know what they're doing. For instance, they removed the former PDP government, who is from the state, not even from the south, from River State. You removed him because of the interest. Now, what is happening? People over there, okay, I think I've removed. Because when you are playing politics, like the other is the word, is it Ghana? You know, what does not die is Ghana. Whether you believe it or not, it can come in diverse ways. And what brings Ghana on us is our state of life, our activities, our actions. So for me, what we get is saying as a governor of River State is not talking about the people. Right. He's talking about his own personal interest. Because for me, tomorrow it may have a appointment, or it may not have, but he's trying to protest his own personal interest. So it will be relevant in Nigerian politics.
Thank you very much, Mr. Frank. Right now, Andy, now it says that if they understand the modus operandi of what we are doing, they won't waste their time. If you like, go and meet Ibazu. If you like, go and meet Sheyi Makinde. If you like, go and meet Otom Samuel. And if you like, go and meet Ugwanye Ifeanyi. I pity them. People think that relationship can be bought with money. Wike asserted no propaganda could weaken his political capacity to deliver a win for whoever Rivers State decides to support with votes in the 2023 general elections. Now, he says people think that relationship can be bought with money. And we know past antecedents. Right now, we hear speculations having that he's buying some people over from the APC to the PDP. We have people like the former publicity secretary of the APC, in Chris Manbo. He's over now. He's cross-carpeted to the PDP right now. And they said some palms were greased, but that we're still yet to really get that fact correct, right? But with what he's doing right now, don't you think it might amount to nothing? People can still be bought, or he's going against it. Then the words he has used, who has he referred to as small boys?
Okay, so I'm not Wike, so I wouldn't know exactly who is referring to as small boys, but from the statement that he has made, you can understand that essentially there are people who have constituted themselves into clogs in the wheel of his progress, of advancing a cause that he believes to be just, believes to be timely, believes to be necessary for the benefit of the people. But let me quickly just explain something to us. What is the voice of the people in politics? The voice of the people is encapsulated and is amplified in individuals who have been given position of authority. Politics essentially is a contestation of ideas between individuals who seek to seize power, essentially a contestation of ideas that you may get into authority and wield power. And the people who eventually get into authority, when they begin to implement the askings of power, who says that whatever it is that they're implementing is representative of the people? You see, I've questioned this philosophy a lot of times when people speak about is the people that should address, that should speak, is the people that should talk. Leadership has taken on the voice of the people by virtue of the instrumentality of power that they have got. So that today, whether you like it or not, Wike represents, a large voice. The echo. Wike is mainly echoing the voice of some people, whether you like it or not. So what has Wike said? And let us break down the nitty-gritty. Wike is saying, forget what has happened yesterday, that he took out somebody who, was from his state. Politics is strategy, the contestation. And if he had seen that my chances will be limited if this man remains in power, what is wrong with that? He is saying that what we have understood in the constitution of the party is that if the president of the council zone, my chances will be limited, the vice president will come from a different zone, the party chairman will come from a different zone. They understand what it means to zone. Today, what we have is the presidential candidate is from his zone. The chairman of the board of trustees is from his zone. And you have the chairman of the party also from the same zone.
But the president is saying,
the presidential candidate is from a zone. So what do you say when that person, when the president emerges? Is he going to suo moto immediately remove the chairman from power? No, it's going to take a process. We can say that process might as well begin. If you believe indeed that you are going to win election, are you have the tenor? Yosha, you have the tenor. The other people who left for Yosha, you had tenors. The other people had tenors. If you recall, this is how the people.
Hello, we gonna come back. The host said there wasn't a problem, but we gonna come back. We continue streaming. So tell me what you think on the comment below. Let's see what you want us to ask. If you have any question, tell me what you think on the. Yeah, good.
I'm a Rivers man. The party chairman of PDP Rivers State is from Rivers East, Rivers South East Central District. What can we forward? What stop us?
Continue.
And
The chairman and
the same thing is happening in national. The all of us are clamoring for Monterey. Why are we keeping quiet in Rivers State? They say you who got for equity. If we are not being sent, one person is a position as the governor and leader of the party and ask the party chairman of PDP Rivers State and to step down. I don't want to see. I am a simple person. I don't have anything on it. I'm just like this. But we must stand for truth. Justice is not about who you are. It's what you are doing. When you slap me and I cry, this always slap me. Will you also be quiet? Is it not because our job like we are defenseless? So we don't have what to say. I don't have money in my pocket, so I don't have to say it. Then what the young man is saying is the UK now. Is it about the people that was fighting for? They are the one conspiracy we are seeing in this part of the world. Nigerians are members of us are not sincere, even in the public space. Because see, I am a very concerned to say, whether in a very dramatic way, PDP chairman of the party step down. That has not been done. We are going, Bible says, Bible says, remove the law in your eyes, from your eyes, so you can see better. Can we ask our government to remove the PDP chairman?
So if you want me to quickly jump in on that conversation, you would see that, and this is not intended to be a debate, you would see that the PDP constitution is pretty clear on how you are meant to arrange who becomes what, how you are meant to share offices, within the system. Are you saying invariably that should be carried into the states? Yes. Is that what you have? Yes. And what do you have in the states? Do you have in the states an exact situation that is playing at the center? Yes. Is that what you have?
Yes.
Do you have that the current chairman of the state is from a particular zone? The current board of trustees chairman is from a particular zone. The current gubernatorial candidate is from a particular zone. Is that what you have here? If that's what you have, and you can prove that that's what you have, then we can if that's exactly what you have, yeah, we can say that it is not proper for wicked to therefore be crying foul. But if you looked at it and you did not see that it's an exact of what you have in the state that you have at the center, then wicked has some justice now.
Andy, remember that Governor Wike so handedly took off which is the conduct, which he has not denied in the public forum, right? He single-handedly destroyed zoning in the PDP. He says you have it right. Now, he's asking He went in for the presidency,
Is
knowing the
single-handed
situation.
destroyed zoning?
Yes.
Can you add some flesh to that?
Because if you say that Uche Secondus now is there, right? If you say and Uche Secondus should be removed, and you bring in a what they call it, IU, right? How is from the north.
No.
Because now his calculation was that.
Committee that was set up.
Why wasn't it respected? Why wasn't it respected? Why wasn't it respected? Why? No. He has said also that he was behind the removal of Secondus. So why didn't he respect the zoning committee?
So the zoning committee brought out a decision.
No, he influenced the zoning committee, which he has not denied. He agreed, except he didn't listen to it. He publicly accepted that. Should I tell you where he did that? BBC Pidgin English. He did that, and he accepted it. Yes.
Of the chairmanship.
That's true.
The going of the chairmanship to the north.
Do you know? Are you aware that he said that he made IU? He made IU the national chairman.
No, we are not saying about.
And he picked him from the gutter. So he agreed to zoning.
I would say the zoning of the chairmanship or the zoning of the president.
Now the issue is that why is he crying? Now the issue is this: why is he crying foul now? Now that he has lost out.
Why? Because the chairmanship position was zoned to the north.
Well, you can't eat your cake and have it.
I'm coming.
You can't eat your cake and have it.
Zoned to the north. And there was a zoning committee that was established for the presidential ticket.
I'll come back to you. Ray is standing by right now. Ray, we have the issue of ground. I'd like to get your reactions on these arguments we've been having over now in the studio here in Nigeria.
Yeah, thank you, Nnamdi. I think one of the things that we must do is that if we need to move Nigeria forward, we all have to be able to filter some unbiased mindset in terms of things. Because anyone who has been following Nigerian politics, PDP party, and those like that should be able to understand what has been going on. Like you said, sometimes, some people want to eat their cake and they still have it. And the people play too much of dirty politics because of what they want to get and how they want to consume it. A lot of things, some of those state governors, they want to be emperors and they want to detect what happened. Because, state government is actually a government, they say federal government is a government in the center, but that's not quite true. Now, state governments are government in the center. Governors are the people in the center. They are in the center because the president is at the right, the local government chairmen or the local governments is at this thing. So they want to be in the center. They want to detect what happens to the federal government. They also want to detect what happens to the local government. And this is what most of them, almost all of them are doing. So, and the Wike is no exception. Like you said, he rightfully, and he has not denied it in national television, in wherever that he removed Uche Secondus. And he also boasted that they put this IU, that they brought him from gutter. That is his exact words. And then now, obviously, it is about selfish interest, what he get and what he don't get, and the people who surround him. Like what the other gentleman rightly said, that the chairman of their party in Rivers State is from the same senatorial or whatever with Wike, and he's not crying foul. The other gentleman is talking about why should or questioning is something in the federal, should he be taken to the state? Why shouldn't he be taken to the state? Why should you be talking about zoning, or maybe this one is not balanced in the federal and you don't want to balance it in your state? You can't be speaking from the side of your mouth. Let us try to see how we can get this nation working, because those men, those people do not augur well for us. When I look at Wike and the way he's playing politics now, I begin to understand why PDP actually lost the 2015 election. I don't belong to PDP, but this mess that we are now with this APC government, it is the same infighting, it is the same his doggedness or whatever you might call it, which is a negative one that brought us part of this, because he is the part of the group that confused the then president, Goodluck Jonathan, that nothing is happening, that they are on the course.
Thank you, Ray. We'll come back to you now. We'll move over now to the next issue of ground. If you don't join us, this is open conversation. I've been speaking with Ray Kene Obodo from the UK and also Andia Kotivere, an advocate against bad government or governance, you could say. Then also Franco Nawaje, public affairs analyst. And we're moving over now. It's PDP set to make Omar session 48 hours to the NEC meeting now following Senator Iochagi's insistence not to resign his position as national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. The planned meeting by the National Executive Committee, NEC, of the party, slated for Thursday, September 8th, 2022, is expected to be a stormy one as forces for and against Ayu in the party's leadership are set to have an open confrontation at the meeting. It was led by one of the national delegates that informed that ahead of the NEC meeting, some senior members of the National Working Committee, NWC, were yesterday engaged in a marathon meeting to thwart moves to hoist Ayu as one of the items on the agenda of the meeting. Frank and Nawaj, I'm taking you first on this. How do you really see this unfolding right now, this 48 hours to the NEC meeting? And what we have today is a battle of two gladiators.
That's what I call in my own political thinking, political geography. If they have seen that the position of Ayu will make PDP not to win ground, maybe in the west, in the north, in the south, in the east, I feel that PDP may remove Ayu. But one thing I'm seeing in Nigerian politics, I'm not a kid to them, is that people don't even care if the people actually exist in a way. If not ordinarily, if we believe that people exist and the power. No, I read a book by Thomas Paine, The Right of Man. If we believe that the power to go into leadership belongs to the people, I feel that PDP should also look what are the people saying about what is happening. Are the people ready to support Ayu as the party chairman to lead this party into election? If that is not there, they can remove Ayu. The one thing we must also is a power game. And the game whatever we are talking here, maybe unknown to us, is also the power of interest of our party wins. I will get what I want. Listen, there are people in the APC that are not eating the public, what we call the national game. They are moving like you just said. They are when you move, you get the public cake or the national cake. And we must also be careful. In PDP now, think of the network. The network of people, if we are to be sincere, the network of people who are moving against Ayu, are they actually formidable? For me, look at the spirit, they are not.
Okay.
So, no, they are not. But if you look at it, like in the south, we have systems. We have systems. One for what is only APC. But all is 5 PDP. And out of the 5 now, the 4 are not talking. I don't think the 4 are not talking. And the 4, like it or not, I don't see them. But if Don Luga even has also mentioned, I bring it in them now. He has not mentioned these 4 who are in the executive with him in the south side. Now look at the southeast. We have 5 states in the southeast. He mentioned maybe Abia and one of that other 3. Are they with him? So the issue of national politics, not in Nigeria, we think the way you think, I will do it. You don't even consider the people. So for me, the first in PDP of the issue of Ayu removal is very, very small. But if the interest of the party, let's get my plan to put this here. If the interest of the party in the name of PDP is taken from the north, it's a factor, then they remove Ayu.
All right. Let's see. Andy now, it says credible sources, however, told one of the national delegates that loyalists of Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State are also exploring the option of dragging the party's national chairman before the court to challenge the process that brought Ayu into office. Do you think going to the court will actually yield any results?
Okay, so let me just quickly jump in and explain a few things.
Okay.
Was the bringing in of Ayu the people's decision. when we have come to like a brick wall, we begin to speak about the people.
So the removal of Ali is the people's decision.
Yes, I want to say that it has never been about the people. In an unjust society where systems do not work,
Okay.
where the will of man and might trumps the will of the people and authority, you will not find the people's voice. What condition or situation have we heard the voice of the people? And I began this conversation by saying that it is essentially about the interests of individuals. If you and I got power to become today, we will start speaking in this language because the superstructure that will make us speak differently has been weakened. Once we get there and we have all of the to our control, all of the appurtenances of office, we have all of the cake, for instance, at the work before us, we begin to appropriate them so much without following standard because the system that should allow the people's voices to be heard is not here. You find it in the UK, you find it in America, because the people elect, because sovereignty in those societies lie with the people by virtue of the fact that their system, that constitution works. Today, it is strong men that decide what happens, and the people know. Let me give a typical example. In 2015, in 2019, what did Wike deliver to PDP? He delivered over 75% of the votes. In Enugu, what did they deliver to PDP? Over 75% of the votes. In Abia State, you see, politics is not about speaking English. It's about permutation and calculation. Wike understands that these people that he has aligned with are people who deliver. Have you not heard the rhetoric we've been throwing around? He keeps saying,
but now it's that the reverse will be the case because there are beavers. There are beavers now. And but the reverse will be the case. So this time around we will not ask such insignificant problem.
Conversation. Strong men still drive opinion. Let me tell you, there are people who in this society they listen to radio and TV every day, but they're waiting for what their political godfather, the direction is going to take. They all will queue. Don't forget that different things motivate people. I said this several different things.
Yes, let's get back to that right now. For the 8 hours, they'll be having a meeting, and we've seen some plots here and there from different parties in the PDP. Yes, actually plotted. They want IU off. Some are saying that we're against it, and you cannot be hoisted out of it.
I am saying
the net meeting will unfold.
I'm saying that because Atiku understands that this probably might be his last chance. He wants to win election. And he knows the places where the votes will come out from. These are people Wike rose with, or he has continued to talk about, are people who yesterday, in past elections, delivered over 75% of their votes. The ones who are queuing behind the IU now, in Niger State, in Kaduna State, what is the percentage of vote that they delivered to PDP? Atiku understands this game and he wants that vote. He understands that if he does not go to what these people are asking, who have been delivering over 75%, absolutely. These people you say they are nothing, that they are just four of them, that they are nothing, that what they deliver in Bayelsa State, what was the percentage of vote that was delivered to PDP? In Akwa Ibom State, in Cross River State, what was the percentage of vote that was delivered for Atiku? Are you saying that? We can understand that the people is rolling with are people who delivered more than 75% in all the elections for PDP.
Are you saying that Atiku will succumb to the condition of
if he wants to win election?
That if he wants to
write it down. Let me say it. If Atiku does not succumb, I'm saying it here as a political prophet. None of my prophecies have gone to waste. I'm saying if Atiku does not go to this, he's going to lose the election. He knows.
And have you seen the condition?
He's going to. In what condition? Politics is about interest. Atiku has his own interest. All the people who speak in politics in Nigeria, they have interest. Okay. Saraki has interest. All of them have interest. So what is wrong with me propagating my interest as a politician?
Okay, let's see how that unfolds. You've really said some things.
It's going to lose.
What do you unfold, or what do you see unfolding in the next meeting coming up in 48 hours' time?
Yeah, let me just chip in something from what he just said. Obviously, it's not because of maybe Wike or no Wike. Any presidential candidate will want to keep the house together. So it's not just about Atiku. If Atiku keep Wike will make Atiku to win an election. It's not going to work that way in 2023 election. There is a lot of things to play. There is APC, there is Labour, there is AAC, there is other parties, there is this thing. What you can understand is that Atiku or PDP losing Wike and losing Enugu or some of those south that is aligning with Wike will further make them not to get anything much in the election, maybe losing the election shamefully. But that they still have them does not mean that it is a walkover. So that is what I just want to say from what my friend and gentleman that just said. So it's not about Wike. Wike has the muscle, he has money, and he has all those people. Don't forget that the way election, what we've been promised in this 2023 election because of Beavers, the way the election was conducted in 2015 and 2019, the massive rigging and the massive irregularities and a lot of things might not play in this 2023. We have seen a little bit of it in Oshun. We have seen a little bit of it in Ekiti and Anambra. So the way they have been winning this election and the margin of vote they have been returning for their states and those things, it's probably not going to be the case in 2023. So that Wike deliver 75 or 80% is not just about Wike, it's about the people at the same time, because the southeast and the south is predominantly PDP states. But now things are changing. Now let's come to the meeting that they're going to be having in the next 48 hours. You see what you want me to talk about, Namdi? Obviously.
Before you venture into that,
yeah,
I was going to ask, with your statements, I'm learning to interpret, or I like to interpret that you see an Atiku aligning or not aligning with Wike's conditions.
I think if he want to do well and if he want to stand the chance, I mean that he's gonna win, he will want to put his house in order by bending. But obviously, Atiku, when you see him, he has a lot of ego as well, and he might not do that. It just depends, because sometimes.
The conditions that Governor Nyesom Wike has given to an Atiku.
Yeah. I've seen that kind of people, but the Atiku as a person, I know, unless if he's persuaded by other stakeholders in PDP, he wouldn't want to bow with that, because he has a lot of things. And then as much as he won the presidency, it might be his last chance, but people see him that he's desperate, but he's not really that desperate. When you look at that guy, he wants to be the president, but it's not that he's doing it by fire by force, because if he's doing it, he's going to be playing the game differently. So he might at the end of the day, and then he won't bend down to whatever Wike said, but if he want to stand their chance, because he wouldn't want what happened to Jonathan in 2015, where 7 state governors worked against him to happen. He is not a government, he is not the president at the moment, and he's going to have about some governors working against him. So it's going to be more difficult than even what happened to Jonathan in 2015. So with that, he might have to try to gain some ground, with Wike and their cause, and they can move on. If they, yeah. All
right. So go over to the issue of 48 hours. What's your word in very few seconds before we move, because time is against us?
I think their meeting in 48 hours, I can tell you, they will not be able to resolve anything major in 48 hours, but they might get on and they discuss certain things, but they're not going to be resolving anything in 48 hours. It's just going to be the same thing running roundabout. But at the end of the day, they're going to come in and see a way forward. Whether is he going to resign in 48 hours? I don't think so. He might eventually resign, bow, to give way, to make peace reign, if that is what the other people are saying. Is Ayu going to cost them the election? If they actually come in and they fight the election with Ayu, it's not that it's going to cost them the election. It's not that it's going to win them. But for the fact that those people are saying, remove this person or whatever, they're probably going to head to that so that they can keep their house in order. So, but we keep on watching, and I wish them well.
Thank you, Andy, because of our time. So sorry. We can't really want to move over to the next issue of ground now. Ray, thank you so much for that response. So moving over now to the issues in the APC APC has raised. He said the All Progressive Congress on Monday says the opposition People's Democratic Party is in panic over the recent visit of the APC presidential candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu to former President Goodluck Jonathan. The PDP had reacted to the closed-door meeting between the statesman, which the camp of the former Lagos governor said was in continuation of his nationwide consultation with critical stakeholders. Thank you first, Frank Nawaji. What should the PDP be jittering over the visit of the APC presidential flag bearer Bola Ahmed Tinubu to the former president of Nigeria, Goodluck Jonathan?
Well, you see, if you look at the state of Goodluck now, Goodluck is like a very good statement that people want to consult because of what is happening. It's today not just the national people, it's also his position has gone beyond even the shore of this country. So there's need for him to be consulted. But let me also tell you this before I continue. You see, I don't know if we believe in change, then governors will never work. Governors will never influence the election. But if we believe that what used to happen 5 10 years ago will happen, APC will win election. Why am I saying that? APC control over about 22 or 21 states now. So if that will stand, well, we also struggling to say the truth. Because APC is today has about 21, at least the other one is now 21. I mean, yes. So if we want to inch our discussion on winning an election, APC will win election without any threat. But let me tell you what is happening today. It's because of the issue of tribalism. You see, what even with election is our tribalism that has become a problem. Because see, the North, I think it's from the North. So if we are hinging it on the North, I think we win election. But if we are hinging the politics on the spread of the party, APC will win election.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you. Andy, people have said that the person, when he was in office as the president of Nigeria, he really fought against his administration. And now you've come to really consult him. Why would you be consulting him first? And other set of people have said that is it wrong for you to really make amends of the issues you've had before with somebody in the past? So why do you think Tinubu will be consulting the former president?
It's part of what is expected. So you want to become the president. It is only expected for you to go see the past presidents, right? So you would have seen that it has become tradition that everybody who wants to be anything as a governor, you would see the past governors that are alive, the presidents, you will see them. So I'm sure that that's why, you would see that Tinubu is going around to meet all these people. When it was the time for, Goodluck Jonathan, he also went around to see the people who had come in before him, who had sat on that chair as president at one time or commander-in-chief. So it is only expected. But see, let me say this, beyond the razzmatazz, beyond the very cosmetic things of going to see, your past president, I don't think it will amount to anything, given that even this person, you see, in politics, I have been in this game for a long time to understand that politics is not about speaking English. It's about the person who has got, as a commander-in-chief, who has got the ears of the people, the foot soldiers. And Goodluck Jonathan supported somebody in Bayelsa State. He did not support the current governor. Did he win? Did that person win? Who won in Bayelsa State eventually? It was the person Goodluck Jonathan did not support. So that's why you see that Wike has got the fell for. He has got the audacity to speak in the way he speaks. And I want to quickly,
people you ever say talking about.
Yes.
Some of them are no longer with him.
This is the point.
Because
that's why there's the fight. And I know that there's the fight. There's thing that controls the till, that holds the liver. Forget livers. And that is what we're saying it. The person who holds the liver in this country, these systems are not strong enough.
to answer to these things about beavers and all that.
And they
Who
will come
owns
with that.
the liver? Who controls
Let's
it? It
move over.
changes minds.
Okay, so let's move over right now to the last issue you have on ground. Ray, I'm thinking you on this one now. It's the last issue we have on ground, which has to do with the coalition of Northeast and North Central stakeholders of All Progressive Congress (APC) has called on the National Working Committee (NWC) to revisit the choice of Senator Kashim Shettima and Governor Simon Lalong as the party's vice presidential candidate and director general of its campaign, respectively. The coalition, which made the call at a briefing in Abuja yesterday, urged the party to resolve the lingering impasse arising from its decision to float a Muslim ticket. Ray Kene Obodo, what's your take on this?
Thank you, Nandi. I think they have their own mind and they have their own say. But I don't think the Asiwaju Bola Tinubu is going to be changing his vice presidential candidate. That window somehow has closed now, unless if maybe they have to put something in paper and sign. And unless if they have to put something in paper and sign and said maybe when if they did win the election and that Shettima is gonna be stepping aside, but at the same time, because
Ray, sorry to interrupt you. The window is still open, actually. By the end of September, thereabouts, that's when the window will be closed.
For substitution?
So that's why, yes, that's why the Secretary General of the group, that is Dauda Yakubu, has also said some things concerning. That's why this group is moving to make a change right now.
Okay, that's quite strange, because from what I know and from what I gathered, that would be nice. From what I gathered, I believe that the substitution was closed in July. And the one for governorship was closed on the 18th of August. I believe so. But if that is the case, that's good for them, you know. But if my own thinking, the way I see, the way Tinubu picked Shettima, I believe he must have given it a serious thought, and those people, because they don't really care so much about the people, so it is about their interests, and he is looking for somebody who he thinks that who he thinks that will help him to win the election, and he must have mapped out his own strategy, the way they think they're gonna go about it. But the Northern National Working Committee, they continue to they're gonna air their own view, because now they are not even asking about only Shettima, they're also talking about Lalong as well. So they are not quite happy with that, but that is their own issue. I think the issue of whoever that the APC has selected or whatever, if he works against them, that will be to the benefit of Nigerians, because I believe any right-thinking individual wouldn't want them to repeat this APC government as well, because the mess that the PDP government brought to Nigeria from 1999 to 2015, and it's gotten worse, from bad to worse with this government. Because if everything was Uhuru with PDP government, we have no basis for this PDP. I feel for ordinary Nigerians as I speak, you know, because obviously I live in an advanced country. I see what happened. I see how peace. I see how government looks after their citizens and those kind of things. But even the citizens, they complain that they are not having enough. They basically want you to come and put food in their mouth. That is what they want their government to do. But we see government in Nigeria, where I come from, where I supposed to be. They don't give a damn. They don't care. Their body language doesn't say that they are there for the people. And that is what is making a lot of Nigerians and even people like me living abroad in no man's land. A lot of people are suffering in abroad and those kind of things. They don't see their loved ones, their mothers and those things. So we are looking for a way to change Nigeria, and they get Nigeria working so that people can actually maybe thrive in their own place. If you want to travel to another man's country, you do it by your own willingness, by your own choice, not by force, you know. So that is what we're gonna try to do towards this 2023 election.
All right, thank you, Kenneth. I want to take final words in just 30 seconds. Frank Benawaji, the time is fast spent.
Well, I want to say
10 seconds on this issue.
This matter, I think it will be very, very difficult for any change to be made changing Chitima to Lalong have been giving also an appointment by APC to be, I think, that the general of the party campaign team. So I feel that whatever that's playing out also, people are trying to protect their interests to get access to the national cake, to the state cake, and the local government cake, all this to they will have community cake. And for my concern as a Nigerian, I believe that we should make society a better place where anywhere you are. It's not about you being in government. I think you can feel the impact of the government. Let it be that our nation should be the decision of the people. Because when I look at the way things are also, the people also don't have a voice, and except the one up speaks, others will not speak. So for me, the 2023 election should also make the people to sit up, say no to what the president, because if the people have that mandate,
Thank you, sir.
to give to the leader, the leader will know that if he doesn't do well, he will not be comfortable there.
All right, thank you. Final words from you, Andy, please.
So my final words would be that opportunity has presented itself to the Bola Ahmed Tinubu's camp to do what is needful, because wars, battles are won, in the thinking room before they go to the battleground. You have to think, you have to calculate. The permutations that we have today are such that if he continues with this, he's definitely not going to win the election, because it's going to be losing the Christian population. It's going to be losing the population of even the people, the Muslims that are not excited about this. It's going to be losing the middle belt, votes. It's going to be losing the entirety of the South vote. Calculations. I understand why he has made this calculation, but as it stands today, he has heard. He has seen how the people are taking this decision. It only behoves, him today to go back to the war room, to go and re-strategize. There is still the window for him to do this. If he doesn't do this, my prediction again is like Atiku. If he fails to what Wiki and his people are talking about, he's going to lose the election. If Bola Tinubu does not change this Muslim ticket and the Muslim thing from everything from the north, he's going to lose the election. All right. Mark it.
All right, thank you, Andy. It's been open conversation. This is where we're drawing the curtain close on today's edition. However, tomorrow we'll be with you, same time, same station. Well, I'd like to really thank my guests from the UK, Ray Kenneth Obodo, strategy and leadership consultant. Thank you, Kenneth, for staying with us throughout the program today.
Thank you so much, Nandi. See you soon, yeah?
All right, thank you. Next, I really need to thank the nation builder and social reformer, author and troubler of bad leadership, no other than Andy Akwative. Thank you for coming today.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right, hope you will travel soon. All right, another person I need to thank is the first analyst, one who's followed political unfoldings for so quite a long time, Frank Enawaji Ogonono. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, viewers out there, without you, we wouldn't be here today. So you're the reason why we're here today. Thank you so much for staying with us all through. But if you didn't miss any segment of today's edition of Open Conversation, you can join us on all our social media handles. That's on Twitter at Atlantic TV Net, on Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, on Instagram, Atlantic TV Network. Remember that peace and unity are the pathways to progress. I remain Nandi Usuku. God bless you. See you tomorrow, God willing.
Thank you.
I remain committed to the United Kingdom leaving.
Since I became Prime Minister, I've said we just get on and get.
No, that's it. We just wrapped up the interview, Open Conversation on Atlantic Television Network. Hope to see you soon. Thank you for now. Bye.